So, firstly, apologies for the late video. I've been super sick lately, and my lungs have practically given up on me. So thank you for waiting. So, without further ado, let's get into the vid. So, I've officially completed all the Lego DC games, apart from Lego Batman 1, which we will come back to, don't worry. In the meantime though, it's time for the Marvel side of the Lego games. Now, originally I was going to do a challenge on Lego Marvel Superheroes 1, however, you've already seen the title of this video, and no, that's not happening. That's because I got stuck on level 2, and I couldn't get the glitches required to work. But don't worry, I will try again another time. Anyway, that's how we ended up here, trying to beat Lego Marvel Avengers without heroes. So, can you beat Lego Marvel Avengers with only supervillains? Let's find out.
I can do this all day.
If you didn't know already, this game takes you through the events of the MCU's Avengers in chronological order. Well, for the most part. Since the first mission actually takes place at the beginning of the Age of Ultron movie, which makes no sense. But enough yapping. I decided to start off level 1 using Taskmaster and Ultron, because in my head, I thought they were basically the opposite of Captain America and Iron Man. So, level 1 starts off with you having to attack some Hydra agents. After that, I used Taskmaster to fire explosive arrows at some silver bricks, which exploded and turned into buildable blocks that I built into an electric panel. Unfortunately, there aren't many villains with electricity powers in the game, but I got lucky and chose Ronan the Accuser, who is able to shoot electricity from his hammer, which Thor would definitely be jealous of. Once I activated the panel, it blew up a watchtower and allowed me to use it as a bridge to get across the path, which was blocked by water. Once I was across the water, there was a turret that I had to use to kill some Hydra goons and blow up a gold brick. Though, in order to use the turret, there was a technology panel, so I felt it was only right to use a man with the fattest forehead ever, the leader, who is a Hulk villain and able to use technology panels. Using the leader on the technology panels allowed me to kill the Hydra goons and then destroy the gold brick, which ended up exploding an oil truck. Now, this is where I got stuck, because the oil truck left nothing but a floating Avengers symbol behind. And at first, that had me pretty confused, and I didn't know what to do, but after a quick Google search, I realized that I needed the Avengers to activate the Avengers symbol in order to progress the level. So, instead I tried to fly to the next part of the level. But unfortunately, I was blocked by an invisible wall, so I had to use Plan B. If you didn't guess by now, Plan B is a glitch. This glitch had me rapidly switching characters whilst flying downwards towards the ground, in order to glitch me out of bounds, so I can progress the level. This glitch normally requires Iron Man. Luckily though, we can use his evil counterpart, Iron Patriot, so there's no issue there. However, when I was trying to do the glitch, I accidentally switched to the Thor villain, Ragnarok, and discovered you could do the glitch with anyone with a hammer. So, that might help you out if you're confused in this clip. So, with that all out the way, here's how the glitch went. Oh, my friend, he was there for emotional support.
Oh, I need to press the button. Oh wait, maybe that's me.
Oh, I did it!
You did it?
I did it, and this guy's a villain! And this guy's a villain! Holy fuck!
Yes.
Yes! Oh my fucking god. So after doing the first part of the glitch, I ended up in one of the final sections of this part of the level. In this section, some laser gates were stopping you from progressing, so I deactivated them by using Abomination on a super strength panel to rip open the unit that was powering the gate, and then I destroyed it using Aldrich Killian, who is a random villain who nobody remembers from Iron Man 3. However, he does have fire powers, so I used him to destroy the gold bricks on this panel. After doing so, I beat up some guards, and well, then this happened.
Yo, so where are they? What the fuck? You might need a switch, really.
He can fly! He can't fly!
Alright, wait, now you just slowly make your way over to. Yeah, slowly. Okay. Nice.
You bitch.
We're gonna fight some people up here.
I think there's meant to be a level here. I'm getting that feeling. So, this isn't meant to happen, but nevertheless, I could still glitch my way to the final part of the level, which is exactly what I did. So, the second part of the level is actually super boring, because what you're meant to do is use Iron Man, who is flying around outside, to kill 10 jetpack guards, which for obvious reasons I can't do. So instead, I had to wait for ages for the flying Hydra guards to die by their own turrets. So after waiting for ages, the cutscene finally triggered and I went inside the castle to complete the level.
I can do this all day.
So, level 2 takes you all the way back to the beginning of the first Avengers movie, where Loki, hey that's me, is escaping the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. Anyway, in order to attempt to stop him, you have to beat up a bunch of mind-controlled S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Then I used Iron Patriot to blow up some silver bricks, which allowed me to access a S.H.I.E.L.D. access panel, which at first kind of scared me, but then using my elite ball knowledge, I remembered the evil S.H.I.E.L.D. agent from Captain America the Winter Soldier, and used him to access the S.H.I.E.L.D. panel. Doing so, hangs a crate above Loki's head, which I dropped on him by using MODOK's laser beams. After that, I had to beat up some more mind-controlled enemies, and then I used MODOK to hack a panel, which opened up a wall, which I had to use Taskmaster's sound arrows to destroy. Doing that caused an explosion where Loki was standing, and caused me to enter the final stage of part 1 of the level. This part was super easy, because all I had to do was beat up Loki. The next part of the level is also pretty easy. All you have to do is shoot a target with Taskmaster, which reveals a S.H.I.E.L.D. access panel, which I used Red Skull on. That panel allows you to build a car, which you have to chase Loki in. However, before you do that, you have to install a turret on top, which is pretty easy, because all you do is hack another panel with MODOK, which opens up a door that a guy speeds out of and fucking crashes into some crates, which allows you to build a turret and hop into the car. Once you hop into the car, you're at the final part of the level. The final part of the level is a car chase where you have to destroy waves of vehicles to complete the level. The one issue is that your S.H.I.E.L.D. agents driving the car, but I'm going to use the logic that they're probably evil, since it turns out that most of S.H.I.E.L.D. is Hydra, and if you don't think that's a good excuse, well, in my last video, I didn't count vehicle parts like this, so after destroying a bunch of cars, I completed the level. Yay!
I can do this all day.
Level 3 starts you off in Captain America's gym, and this level seems to start off pretty easy, with me having to find and build boxing gear, or whatever the hell that is. I wouldn't know since I'm lazy and fat and don't go to the gym. Anyway, once I built it, they wanted me to use it. However, the issue was, I had to be Steve Rogers to use it. So, I had to glitch my way to the next part of the level. This glitch is pretty similar to the one on level 1. You have to glitch over the invisible barrier, using someone with a hammer. I once again used Ragnarok, then flew around underneath the map until I triggered a cutscene. After the cutscene, you're at the second part of the level, which is a flashback to Steve Rogers' battle against Red Skull in World War I. In this section, you have to destroy 3 Hydra turrets that are shooting at you. The first one requires you to put out flames with a shield, so you can build a point to grapple and pull off a part of the turret. And I used Taskmaster to do both of those things. And then, in order to destroy the turret, I had to blow up some silver bricks, which I once again did with Taskmaster's explosive arrows. The next turret was pretty much the same, except instead of pulling out flames, I just had to beat up some guards, then do the grapple and silver bricks part. Then, for the last turret, it was the exact same as the one I just talked about. Once the turrets are destroyed, Red Skull sends enemies down an elevator to attack you. What you're meant to do is use a shield switch to be able to attack them, and then ride up the elevator to Red Skull. But I couldn't do that because the only person who can use a shield switch is Captain America. So instead, I just flew over the gate and up the empty elevator shaft to Red Skull. After that, Red Skull runs away and you have to follow him. In order to do this, I had to pull down a ladder, then blow up a silver brick door with the Taskmaster. Once you chase after them, you're in the next section. In this section of the level, Red Skull is standing across from you on a platform, but if you try to get close to him, he will shoot you. Luckily, I could cheese the system by flying over him and going behind him to hit him. Once you hit him, the game forces you back to the other end of the platform, and Red Skull blows up the roof and causes some silver brick debris to block your path. I dealt with the debris with the Taskmaster, who has definitely been the MVP so far, then used his parkour ability to get across to Red Skull and land the final blow at him. This triggers a cutscene which takes you to part 3 of the level. Part 3 of the level is the train which Bucky Barnes dies on. Now, what you're meant to do is make your way across the train doing loads of puzzles and different types of things which involve shield switches. And I couldn't be bothered with that, so I just decided to fly straight to the end. At the end of the train, you're greeted by a massive turret which you have to destroy by deflecting its own beam back at itself because it's made of gold bricks. However, I for some reason was struggling to do this. So, I decided to take the easy route and use Thanos, my favorite big purple nutsack, and then stood to the side of the turret and used Thanos' lasers to destroy it. After that, I had to quickly put out some flames, then I headed inside, took out a couple of enemies, and completed the mission.
I can do this all day.
Level 4 starts you off on the helicarrier, where you once again have to get 3 things in order to progress the mission. The first is a flag, which I simply flew up to where it was located and gave it back to the air traffic control guy. Next was one of those cleaning cars that kind of reminded me of that one scene from Deadpool.
You're about to be killed by his Zamboni in 5 minutes!
I got this by flying up to a crate, which I broke and built into a hacker panel, which once I completed, opened up the garage that had the cleaning car in it. Then, I had to drive around the cleaning car and clean up some oil spills. The last thing I had to get was a stick or something. I don't actually know what it is, but it doesn't matter, because in order to get it, you have to go invisible. And after doing some research, the only people with that power of invisibility are heroes. So, for a moment, I got pretty worried, but after doing even more research, I found a pretty easy glitch. Roll the clip.
This month's both ends.
Oh yes, okay. Yes! Come on. The second part of the mission is a boss fight with Loki. At first, you just have to beat him up for a while until he teleports away. Once he teleports away, he turns into like a bajillion clones, which you have to beat up until he teleports away again. You know in my Lego Batman 3 video, where I complained about bosses being bad? Well, those are miles better compared to this. So, you probably guessed it, but after he teleports away, he sends mind-controlled goons at you. And once you take those out, you beat up Loki again. And then he does the clone thing again. And finally, once you deal with those clones, he spawns in a bunch of clones. And you have to use like the Avengers sense, which for some reason Ragnarok can use to decipher who is a real Loki. And then beat him up and trigger the cutscene to the final section of the level. Wow, that was a lot of clones. The final section started off with me using the red skull to destroy some silver bricks blocking my path. Then I got sent into a quick time event, which turned me into Thor, and I defied Iron Man. Now, normally I don't count these quick time events. However, this game clearly had loads of glitches in it, so I decided to see if there was any glitches I could do to make this run extra clean. It may or may not have also been because when I progressed the level normally, I realized there was a thing only Iron Man could do. So, the glitch is nothing out of the ordinary. I used Ragnarok to force myself out of bounds, then I flew up this tree and switched to Iron Patriot, because I'm pretty sure only Iron Man or someone with Iron Man's animations could trigger the cutscene in this glitch. After switching, I flew up and jiggled around a bit until I triggered the cutscene and completed the level. Oh, finally! Yes!
I can do this all day.
Level 5 starts off with you getting bum rushed by the Hulk.
Saved.
And you have to run away from him. And it's pretty easy because all you have to do is, well, run. Once you get into the end of the running section, the Hulk gets bodied by Thor and you enter a quick time event. Which, as I mentioned before, doesn't count as a fail. So, anyway, after beating the crap out of the Hulk, a cutscene was triggered, and I entered the second part of the level. This part is a mini boss fight thingy against Hawkeye. In order to beat him, you have to beat up a couple rogue shield agents, then wait for him to pull a banana out of his ass.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
Once he does that, you're able to shoot him, which I did with the Grim Reaper. After that, you repeat the process of beating up the guards and shooting Hawkeye once he takes something out of his prison wallet. And after a third time of shooting him and leaving him at 1 HP, he blows some stuff up and makes a shield panel accessible. So, I flew over and used the red skull on it. Once I did that, the fire he made was put out, and I had to use a leader on a hacker panel. On the hacker panel, there was a memory game that I kinda struggled on, because I'm an idiot. But after completing the memory game, a lever popped up. But I couldn't pull it just yet, because I had to activate the other one. The other lever would have followed a similar path. However, I couldn't use the shield panel because I needed to be invisible. So instead, I put out the fire myself using Taskmaster. Then, once again I used the hacker panel and completed the memory game with the leader, which activated the second level. So I went ahead and pulled both of them, which allowed me to land the final hit on Hawkeye, taking me to the final part of the level. I started off the final part of the level blowing up a silver brick with Red Skull, then beating up some mind-controlled guys. After that I did some parkour, then used the destroyer's flame powers to destroy a gold brick, which dropped a beam that I was able to walk over. On the other side of the beam, there was more bad guys which I had to beat up. After getting rid of the enemies, I put out a fire with Taskmaster. The fire was covering up a lever, which once pulled, revealed a gold wall, which I opened up with Crimson Dynamo. However, once inside, I realized a big issue. In order to progress the level, I needed to use Captain America. This is what I had been dreading the whole run. At first, I tried to go ahead in the level, but I realized that without doing the shield switch, the game soft locks itself. Then, I realized that Bucky Barnes had a Captain America outfit where he has a shield, and thought maybe, just maybe, this was a reference to something in the comics he did, where he was maybe evil or brainwashed and trying to impersonate Captain America, you know, all that stuff. But unfortunately, this wasn't the case. So, out of options, I tried a glitch that I was 90% sure it was patched, but it was my only option. And well, I don't know if that's where we're meant to go, that's fucked. Oh, there we go. Oh.
I can do this all day.
So, after almost not being able to complete level 5, I loaded into level 6 with my hopes actually quite high. Only for them immediately to be shattered, and the game deciding to basically give me a big fuck you. This is because you spawn in a store and can only use Thor. So, panicked, I looked up glitches online and found absolutely nothing. I tried to run around, see if there was anything I could do, and found absolutely nothing. I even tried to just shit in the Quinjet and just wait, but once again, nothing worked. So unfortunately, my run comes to an end. So, can you beat Lego Avengers with only supervillains? Hell no. You can only make it halfway. And this really pisses me off because we have yet to beat a challenge. Like I said, I will not stop until we do. However, the fact that 2 runs have ended like this shows me that I might need to update the rules a little. So maybe in the future, we might revisit this. Anyway, moving on. Because the more I talk about the challenge, the more annoyed I'm gonna get. Now to the good stuff. I just wanted to say again, a huge thank you for 1,000 subs. And if you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much. You don't know how much this means to me. I didn't expect to hit this milestone so soon. So if you want to see like an 1,000 sub special or something along those lines, give me some ideas in the comments. As long as you don't tell me to like blow up my house or something like that, I'll do it. And if you're new here and not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe, keep those notifications on, and comment because I got big things planned. Anyways, stay tuned for next week, where I'll be trying to complete Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, and then I have some different type of videos planned. Apart from that, have a great rest of your day.